Hello, everybody. How are you? Anish Majumdar, career coach to the fiercely ambitious here. Wherever you are, I want to celebrate you taking the time to watch this training. And I want to focus this on a really big red herring that we all deal with at some point or another, usually multiple times. And that is, I keep getting signals that my current employer is lining me up for a promotion, but I'm not really sure whether they're going to go forward with it or not. They're telling me they will, but it has yet to happen. So, what do I do in the meantime? How do I make sure that we can do that? How do I make sure that we can lock that down? And if they're just blowing smoke, right, which they can do, how do I prepare for that as well, right? What's the right path to take here? And it's incredibly common. If you're dealing with this, I really want you to know that you are not alone. I mean, the number of times I've been speaking with someone who is dealing with this issue and they've been made promises. Sometimes a boss or a company will string you along for years before they finally tell you, oh yeah, you know what, it's not going to happen. And meanwhile, you've lost those years where if you had known the truth of it, you could have made different moves, right? You could have leveraged your experience towards a different role. You might have pushed more aggressively. You might have pushed for a transfer or some kind of a shift, but you didn't because at every stage they're like, listen, the promotion's on its way. That's the big problem with these promises of promotion, is that it costs an employer absolutely nothing to make that promise to you. And as long as it's not in writing, they can back out at any time. But you're already committed to them. You're already committed to doing what is necessary. So it's double-sided by nature. And it's an easy way that a company that has no plans to move you forward, that has no plans to give you a significant pay bump, that has no plans aside from just using you for the now and only the now, it's an easy way for them to put off that problem later. Let it simmer. We bought ourselves at least a year, with this guy or this woman, so we got time. So it's a real problem. In fact, one person, I'll call him Simon, I was speaking with him, and the company that he was working for, this manufacturing company, was promising a major promotion and pay raise to him for almost 2 years. And he thought he was for sure a shoo-in at that near 2-year mark, because aside from doing the equivalent of 2.5 to 3 jobs and doing it successfully, growing new plants, bringing on talent, figuring out new practices, figuring out everything that we need for a small player to compete like a big boy, right? He did all of that. And they were experiencing record growth. So money was coming up the wazoo, right? We're making money. It's moving. He goes in. He gets told the following, and I wish I were making it up. Simon, thank you so much for going above and beyond. We know how much you care. We know all those weekend meetings that you did without complaint. We know everything we asked you to do, you did. Unfortunately, we are growing so much, and we are succeeding and getting the revenues and the thing to such an extent, largely due to your effort, that you're too valuable to do anything aside from what you're doing right now. So let's just get through this period of growth, and then we're going to reopen the topic. So the reason I share that is to make it clear, if they want to screw you over, they can do it in any environment. They can do it in today's environment with all of the insecurity that's going on. They can use that as a way to back out and be a coward in terms of their promises. They can use tomorrow's situation. They can use some invented thing. They can use anything to dangle the carrot, but never actually give you that carrot. So it is very, very critical that you play an important role in this. It is very, very critical that you do not use that as a stopgap for moving forward on your career. And there is a way forward here, and I'm going to outline 4 actions that are going to ensure that, number one, if this promotion is forthcoming, that it is coming as soon as possible, or number two, you're going to be fine no matter what. Okay, so let's talk about them. Number one, it's time to practice radical transparency and accountability at this job. Okay, that means even I don't care if your personality is not that. I'm really not interested in, well, I'm an introvert, I don't like to send emails. This is not about that. If that's the end all and the be all, be happy where you are. But some new things are going to have to come into play. Sincerely, a shy, introverted kid who used to take upwards of an hour to jump on the call, who used to have like trembling hands and knees every time I'd be on that call, and would just be so relieved afterwards, regardless of what the outcome was, that I was like, oh God, I never want to do this again. But I found something that I believe in. And if you have something that you believe in, whether it's a career path, whether it's doing it for your family, I want you to think about them right now, okay? And I want you to think, is what Anish suggesting more important and such a crazy monster that it's worth me disappointing these people? It's worth me not living up to what God intended me to have and do in this life, okay? And if the answer to that is nope, there's nothing that would be too much for that, I want you to put the following into play. Number one, right? This radical accountability. What does that mean? That means that you are no longer hiding mistakes. You are no longer assuming anything. And you are keeping your boss, those people who are going to be directly involved in this promotion, apprised every step of the way. That means you are updating them. Certainly every week. I would say certainly every month, but I would say every week if it's a highly complex position with a lot of moving parts. Nothing wrong. And it's not even that hard, really, to just spend a moment, let's say on a Friday, right? Or the following Monday, to dash off a quick email. Hey, I just wanted to give you a quick status update on what I've been doing over the course of this past week. Here's how it blends into the past month. And hey, I just want to be clear, our main goals are still X, Y, and Z, right? And so if it's not, you're giving your boss, these people, an early route to correct. Because again, that's another big thing, is that promotion time comes around, you've been operating in the dark thinking you know what you're doing, you go into that room and you realize what they were judging you on, 30 to 40% of it, were not priorities for you. So you can't have that happen. And so this openness and accountability is key. When you are talking with your boss, I want you to up the level of honesty. I want you to up the level of transparency. I want you to up the level of concern. I want you to go through every single thing so that you have clear, obvious clarity on every single step as you are going from now into the next mode, right? Action number two, I want you to set a clear date. And this is once the accountability practice is there. Don't go into step two until step one is there. Update this person every week. And now when there's comfortable interplay, now when there's security, real security in you, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going to be judged on. I know what he considers important. I know what the senior leaders consider important. And I am confident that what I'm doing both moves things forward and supports that and gives me the visibility there. Okay. Then you move on to number two, which is I want you to set a crystal clear date on your calendar for when you are discussing the promotion with your boss. What is that date? And I want you to put that right down. If your boss is not willing to commit to a date, get the hell out of there. They're just lying to you. That's all. If they're not willing to talk turkey, and I don't care, maybe they say, okay, look, this is something that we might have to talk about near the end of the year. Okay, can we do it in November? Can we do it like October, November? Is that okay? And then we'll talk before that, but that'll be the main one. Fine. If they do not commit to making it a clear date on which we are going to be talking, and at that point this is going to move to a head, they have no intention of doing it. None. Okay, and it's better that you find out now. Step three. Up-level your brand prior to that discussion. So what does that mean? When you got that job, you were viewed a particular way, and your brand, by extension, supported that. So resume, LinkedIn, and face-to-face strategy were all coming in here. It is absolutely imperative that when you come in for a serious promotion, that you be perceived here. But the default is you going to be looked at here. This is why sometimes it's a lot more difficult to rise long-term at one company than it is to take what you've done, leverage it smartly to something else, leverage it to something else, leverage it to something else. You see what's happening here? You're moving forward by leaps and bounds. By going linear with a path, it's the odds are against you to do that over a long period of time. Now, it doesn't mean it can't happen. It happens all the time. Doesn't mean you can't carve out a journey. It happens all the time. But human nature is what human nature is. And if I saw you this way, if you're the general manager or you want to be the general manager of my company and you've risen up through the ranks, I'll still remember, even fondly, the guy who was like getting coffee and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The guy who was like running errands. But that's not useful to you. That's not as useful as me just seeing you off the bat as just a brilliant, brilliant contributor and someone who can see things with a clarity that I just can't even touch at this level. There's no question of where you came from. I just see you. My first impression is of you at that level. Regardless, up level that brand prior to you going in to meet with your boss. That means, and you're not going to promote that to them, but that means that your LinkedIn profile is up level. It's at the highest target that you are setting for yourself today, not what it was yesterday. Stop adding crap to your LinkedIn and resume, the same resume that you've been using since college, and saying, oh, look, there's the more experience. It's not going to work. It's not going to work in the high level, okay? So when it comes to your brand, if you're going out for that general manager role, everything about what you're putting out there should be general manager. Why? Because if they are vetting you, if they are reviewing you, and they see that, they realize, oh, gotcha. He's moving forward no matter what. This is happening no matter what. He's not waiting for permission. And that's what these steps are for also. It's to make it clear, yes, there's going to be full accountability. Yes, I will execute on every action. And also, yes, this is happening no matter what. Either we're a part of this or we're not. But there's no way this is not happening because I control this and I control where we go. Okay, so up level that brand, get it where it needs to be. Okay, and then finally, number 4, have other offers in hand. I do not recommend that you go in for a promotion and you don't have at least 2 to 3 other offers in hand that you can compare and contrast with, because then it's just a guess, right? It's not a I'll take this or I'll take one of these. It's a take it or leave it. What are you going to do? You're going to ramp up a job search on December the 14th? Come on, realistically, they know that you're not going to do that. If you haven't been doing it, it's unlikely that you will, which means that you're going to take whatever I give you. So if you've got some offers in hand, you've got the most powerful thing. Instantly, you've gone from here to 50-50. Instantly, no matter what happens, because you know that you're going to be all right. And along the way, you have a more realistic understanding of what your market value is. You have a more realistic understanding of how easy it'll be if you can control your first impression in that way. And you've given yourself a powerful, powerful, activated setup to accomplish that. And if you would like to go deeper into these areas, especially when it comes to, okay, how do I set myself up for these offers? How do I generate that? I know that there's a lot of insecurity out there right now. There's a lot of people who are saying, oh, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. There are some ways in which they are right. And one way is that, oh God, there has never been a worse time to be a job seeker or just another candidate for a job. Oof. That approach has never worked fully. It's always sucked for normal people like us. But now in this environment, don't even bother. Don't even bother. It is like trying to swim from one end of the pool to the other while holding a boulder. It will not work for most. Okay? And if you have unique value, it'll especially not work for you. So if you want an alternative to that, I encourage you right now to go over to helloanish.com. I've got a masterclass queued up right there that is going to teach you the 5 shifts that I teach my private clients to get them generating dream offers on demand over and over and over and over and over again. No job search BS necessary. So hop over there right now. It'll be the best move you make all week in terms of advancing this and making your dreams a reality. And to all of you, I'm wishing you much, much success. Keep your head up. We are all going to get through this. We are all going to come out on the other side more connected to our families, more connected with our purpose, and more understanding that our time here is finite. So let's make that count. Okay? So I wish you and yours all the best, much health, much happiness. Let's get after it.